Welcome back, you guys, to 10 million in 10 months. This video is just going to be a life update. Like, this is what's going on behind the scenes. I'm going to be talking about our building. I'm going to be talking about rebranding. I'm going to be talking about sales, our team, and just the general state of the economy and how it's impacting our business. But before I get started, go ahead and subscribe for me. Like, comment, and subscribe, or share this video with a friend. Would really appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right, let's get started. The first update, the biggest thing that I have going on right now is that I am working with a broker to get a new building here in Chicago. This is hard because we have to get a building with certain specifications, right? A building that can handle a certain amount of voltage, that has dock doors, that has potentially floor drains in the floor, that has ventilation, and if the building doesn't have these things, we have to invest money into putting these things into the building. So it can be very costly, in the hundreds of thousands of dollars in work. And so it has to not only be outfitted for a warehousing and fulfillment area, but also a production area where we're going to be bringing in kettles that can mix in 300 gallons or 500 gallons. And we're going to have multiple of them, as well as adding a line for production so that we can fill bottles. And then we'll also have a salon area and a lunchroom area and a lab area. So it's like, imagine buying a home, but like times 10, you know? So imagine the stress you kind of deal with buying a home and then do that for your business. But, 30,000 square feet, 20,000 square feet versus a home, which might just be like 2,000 square feet, right? With very specific specifications that have to meet the city ordinances. So this is just like, I'm learning so much, right? So of course I hired an expert. I hired a broker, and the broker actually found me because we went viral with our Shark Tank clip last year around our crowdfunding. And he called me up on LinkedIn and was like, hey, we'd love to take you out to lunch. And of course, we're both married, so it was not like on no like dating type stuff. But he said, I'm a broker, and typically if you're ever looking for a building, like, this is how this goes. And he said, you wouldn't do it by yourself because you're not going to negotiate the best terms. But you have me do it on your behalf, and I'll make sure you get favorable, terms with how long your lease is. I'll make sure that you are able to break the lease for that part of it is affordable. I'll make sure that they put some of the specifications that you need into the building, and we can build, and they can pay for it all up front and spread the cost out throughout the lease. And I didn't even know you could do this stuff, right? I didn't know that you could have your landlord put in $100,000 in work, and then if you do a 5-year lease, spread it out across 60 months. That changes things and makes things a lot more affordable than I thought they were. So I've been going back and forth with him for about 6 months now. At first I was like, oh, no, thank you. Like, I have a foundation who's going to get us a building. But then things kind of changed a little bit with the foundation, and that building's still coming, but it might be a couple years in the future. But I need something like now. And we found the perfect building, but now we're negotiating lease terms with the landlord. And that's tough because we thought we could buy the building at first, then it turned to a rent situation. And now it's like, can we buy the lease? And they're like, no, we only want you to rent. Like, it's just kind of complicated in that sense. So that's like the number one issue on my plate. The second thing I'm working on is the rebrand. So we're switching to a different size bottle, right? Which means I have to be able to forecast revenue 6 months from now because I'm going to have to place an order. And usually when you place an order for tubes or bottles or anything like that from a large manufacturer, they have minimum order quantities of at least 10,000 per product, right? 10,000 to 20,000. That means that if I'm going to rebrand our entire business, I'm looking at buying, 300,000 bottles before I sell them. And they're going to cost anywhere from 30 to 50 cents a bottle. So this is like $100,000 order. So it is, and I can't get it wrong, right? Because you can't fix it because of the lead times. The lead time is how long it takes to get something. So the lead time from when you place the order for the bottles and when you actually get them is like about 3 months. So if you're wrong, then you're going to have a problem, right? So it's worth taking the time and putting it in to get it right. But that also means I got to get my designer to redo all of those like labels and packaging design and everything like that. So I got the building, I got the rebrand, making sure that all the ingredients are right, making sure all the design pieces are right. And then after that, I'm working on like sales. So my job as a CEO is like big vision stuff, right? But so I'm working on stuff in the future. and usually planning for my team so I can, hey, here's the plan, and they can go and run, right? In the past, I've had issues where I didn't do enough planning up front, and I kind of give them a half-baked idea, and then they're frustrated with me because they don't have enough direction on where to go. So I've been spending a lot of time planning this building out, planning out this rebrand, and then our other thing that we're dealing with is sales. You guys, we are experiencing Shark Tank level sales. Actually, this month will be higher in revenue than the month where we were on Shark Tank, which is amazing for us. It's like an amazing problem. But at one point, we were like 2 weeks behind on orders. And we like to get orders out within 3 days of getting them. So getting them out within 14 days is bad. It's very bad. So what did I do? I brought in a football team to help get orders out. Literally a high school football team. Had about 5 or 6 people from them come and help us get orders out. We were up doing orders from like 8 p.m. to midnight. And me and Tim were there directing them, and the kids were watching like the Magic School Bus or something. And we were like feeding them strawberries and snacks so that they could be quiet. And then my team was coming during the day, so they've been working overtime every day and on the weekends to get these orders out. So now we're down to about 7 or 8 days since people ordered. That's what's in the queue right now, and we're trying to get down to 3. So fingers crossed that will happen this week, but I am not sure. But with that comes all the fires that you have to put out when your sales are booming, right? Because now you have to order more materials in bulk, and you may not have enough of what you normally have. It's a lot of other things that break when you're, imagine a pipe, right? A pipe that has some kind of water coming through it. If too much water is coming through, it bursts, right? So that's what we're experiencing. Our system's kind of breaking down with this large influx of orders. So we're trying to catch up because I can't tell my marketing team to slow down because they're killing it, right? And we got to get to 10 million. So at this point, we'll definitely hit the 10 million, but we'll see. We have to keep it up. The other thing is in the hair care business, it's cyclical, right? So Q1 and Q2 are always like great. And then Q3 sucks for a lot of people. Some people are like, our sales are so bad, it feels like we're going out of business. Like that's in August, right? And that's when everybody starts to go back to school and they go on their vacations. They're not on the internet buying as much. So I always kind of see this lull right in August and September. And then it kind of picks back up in November and December. So August, September, and October are always kind of meh. So that'll be a good test this year to see if those things do well. And lastly, my last update is my team. I need to make sure that everyone stays motivated and inspired and happy and not super overwhelmed and overstressed during this period. So I've been doing a lot of like team morale things. Like we brought in someone to give massages to my operations team. 30-minute massages, chair massages, like on their breaks. And they loved it, and I bought them lunch. And they were like, oh my gosh, Kim, this is the sweetest thing ever. Thank you so much. Plus, they're getting overtime for all the hours that they're working. And what else have I done? And I got these like little gifts, like these little unicorn gifts for my exec team, because I want them to know that they're unicorns and that we're going to be one day too. And I've just been doing things. And I've also been pitching it myself, because what good is a leader who isn't, I'm never going to ask you to do something that I'm not willing to do myself. And I want my team to know that. So I like to be there if we are packing orders overtime, or I want to pitch in. I don't want to be just the CEO sitting high in the sky in my ivory tower somewhere, you know? So that's a business update. I hope that was helpful, or if that was interesting to you guys. If you have any questions below, go ahead and drop them in the comments. I love to be transparent. I think it's really important because I didn't have access to this kind of information when I was starting my business. So I had no idea like what an MOQ was, or what a SKU stood for, or lead time, you know, just all these different things. Some of it I learned in school, but some of it I learned on the fly. If you have questions, go ahead and put them below. And thank you so much for following me on this 10 million in 10 months journey. I'll see you guys next time.